are here to show that there is support for President Trump in the bluest area in the country, here in Manhattan, right outside the courthouse where he may be arraigned. So we are very happy to be here to show our support and show that this is a politicized prosecution and persecution without any merit. We believe that the fact patterns that they've presented, or that have been leaked rather, are without merit, and many federal prosecutors have chosen not to prosecute this. His predecessor in this very jurisdiction chose not to prosecute this, and now where he's rising in the polls, both in the primary and the general, now they're choosing to do this. For us, the issue is clear. It's politicized. It is a politicized prosecution, and this is a disgrace to our country, to our judicial system, to our legal system, that the leader of the opposition, the presumptive nominee for president, will be prosecuted, will be put in handcuffs, will be dragged in front of a court for a novel legal theory that's never been tested. So we really think that this is a disgusting shame, especially out of an office that has refused to prosecute violent criminals, refused to prosecute lifelong offenders, crime, rapists, assault, murder. Crime has been going up, and now this is what he's choosing to do. So we think it's absolutely disgusting, and it's a total indictment, not on Trump, but on Alvin Bragg's office. Wax, W-A-X. You want to say a few things? Sure. And this is our Executive Secretary, Vish Burra.
Vishburra. Look, it's real simple. Let me get in front over here. Alvin Bragg needs to get back to doing his job, all right? Crime is through the roof in New York City. We need him to focus on doing his job, cleaning up the crime in the city, and filling this building behind us with criminals to the brim, and not with an audience of one named Donald Trump. Alvin Bragg needs to get back to work. He needs to not abdicate the authority that he's been given by the good people of Manhattan, by the good people of New York City, and to clean up their streets. There's crime through the roof right now, heinous attacks going on in our subways, on our streets. We need to claim our streets back, and that's why we're here today. We're here to claim our streets back. We need a DA who's going to focus on doing the job and not weaponizing his office to pursue political persecutions that are neither wanted nor warranted. So we need Alvin Bragg to get back to doing his job, drop the witch hunt on Donald Trump. Plain and simple. Vishburra, Vishburra.
Just to echo what Vish and Gavin have said, of all the things that Alvin Bragg could be doing, this is what he's chosen to prosecute. There are leaks coming out of the DA's office, and most of the prosecutors don't even want anything to do with this. It is just the most radical members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office going after a political candidate, the presumptive nominee for President of the United States. It's an embarrassment to our country. This should not happen to anyone running for president, as Gavin said, on a novel legal theory that has no precedent in law. Kevin Smith.
And as we are here today, we are showing that we are peaceful. We're just here talking to the press, letting our voices be heard. We're not shouting expletives. We're not here to do anything. We're letting our views be heard. We're in Manhattan. We're in the bluest part of the country. And here we are showing our support. And I want to give a few other people a chance to say a few words. Paul, you want to say something?
Sure. I just want to thank Gavin and Kevin for putting this together. This is a witch hunt. I think the American people realize that this is a witch hunt. And these charges have been in circulation since 2018. Federal prosecutors didn't want to touch this. Even Alvin Bragg himself did not want to touch these charges. Only after a radical left-wing prosecutor in his office mobilized public support on behalf of this did he ultimately bring up these charges. But no one with common sense believes there's any credibility to these claims. And Donald Trump's support is amplifying and increasing by the day, and the American people stand by him and stand with him, and we're here just to show our support on his behalf peacefully, and showing that the American people support him.
Well, because the American political lexicon uses military terms. You have a war room, you talk about flanking, you talk about political strategy. It was a term, and there was nothing in that speech, which was mostly directed against the right-wing Republican establishment and talking about how we want to use the same tactics of the left and engage in mail-in voting, engage in proxy voting, engage in ballot harvesting where it's legal. So it's just funny how that got taken out of context when I was mostly talking about the political establishment. But speaking of the political establishment, today the governor of Florida came out after, I think, 48 hours plus of silence on this issue. He is the leading opponent in the polls in the primary to President Donald J. Trump. He's seen as the opposition to Trump within the party. And he finally gave a statement. He talked about it being a Soros DA, which was fine. But then he used the opportunity to attack and smear the president in a form of a cheap shot, which we viewed as totally unacceptable. He had a moment where he could have rose to the occasion, acted like a statesman, united the party, united the country, and simply called this for what it is, a politicized prosecution. But he chose instead to use that stage today and attack the president with a low-ball cheap shot when he knows, as well as everyone knows, that this is a witch hunt, and they're going to do it against him in due time if he becomes a political threat. At the present, he's clearly not a political threat because they're coming after Donald J. Trump and not Ron DeSantis, you know, as great of a governor as he has been. So I definitely wanted to call that out today and call out many of the people in the Republican Party who have frankly been silent in New York State and elsewhere. We've had a lot of elected officials who owe their political, career to Trump. They would have been nothing without him, and they've been completely silent on this. And it just goes to show that despite this being one of the, biggest stories politically happening and probably in a generation, having a president come down here in handcuffs, they're all quiet. They're still talking about St. Patrick's Day and whatever else. So it's a real shame that we have a party that can't stand for anything, and then it takes like a ragtag group of a few dozen people to come down here and let our voices be heard. So I just wanted to put that out there, and I have a few more people to speak. Mr. Crispy.
Both microphones?
Sure.
Hello, everybody. You guys all know this, if you go deep and inward, that our country and our city was in a much better place when Donald Trump was the president. You guys all know that if you're being honest with yourself. We had peace, we had prosperity, we had low gas prices, and this country has spiraled into the abyss since Joe Biden took over. And everybody standing behind me knew this would happen. And we know what's going on right now as a result to prevent that prosperity from returning to this country. Alvin Bragg has presided over a carnage in this city. Good people that I know have left this city. They don't want to come back to the city. They don't feel safe. You guys know that bodega owner? He left and went and moved back to the Dominican Republic because he thought that Alvin Bragg's policies were arcane. And right now what we're seeing is the unraveling of our country as we know it. You don't go after political opponents. That's what they do in third world countries. But Joe Biden has absolutely no problem doing that because he's owned by China. He's owned by these countries that do not value the rule of law. And these whack job, far left DAs that have been put up by Soros money have absolutely no problem defiling what it means to be an American, where we don't pursue our political enemies on BS charges, on anything that is even questionable, because the fabric of our constitutional republic is more important than our political differences. These people don't care. They'll go after Trump. They'll arrest Trump because they want to stop him from restoring our country to what it was over the last number of years. It's so disgraceful. We're peaceful. You guys see we're all peaceful here. We're peacefully making our voice heard. We just want to stand for the rule of law, for unity, and we want to see what happens in the next couple of years with this political election with a clean, fair, systematic process, election integrity, nobody going after each other with the law. That's how this country should be. We've gotten away from it because these radical leftists who want to tear our country apart. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Mike, M-I-K-E-C-R-I-S-P-I. Mike Crispy. Thank you.
I guess we'll do a few questions if anyone has it before we...
Stick to your intention for this rally. You said you wanted to keep it low-key.
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of people that are scared to come out, and we wanted to keep it a small, contained thing. We only let members. We vetted everyone one by one, so we sacrificed size for peace of mind. It ended up being more of a press conference, but we're happy with that. We're getting the message across either way, and that's what's important.
So what do you make of the small protest? Are you going to be out here tomorrow?
I'm not going to be out here tomorrow. I would encourage people not to be down here. If it happens tomorrow, it could happen Wednesday. If it happens at all, we're not sure. But I think it's going to be a madhouse, and I would encourage people to probably stay home for tomorrow or whenever it does actually happen, because it probably will be a little chaotic. Well, yeah, I don't think that the best time to do it would be the very moment it's happening right here. But yeah, I think people are protesting across the country. I know there's going to be something tomorrow in New Jersey, so that's going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to encourage people to exercise their First Amendment rights and protest, and I think it's a healthy thing that both sides do.
So President Trump said, go out there and protest. You're saying maybe wait a little bit.
Well, we're here right now. We're here in front of you. My view personally is I probably wouldn't be down here tomorrow. So, yeah, I have a disagreement with him, I guess, on that front. So, if you want to come down, be my guest, come down here. But I think it's just going to be a bit of a madhouse. Again, we're saying tomorrow. I don't know if it's tomorrow. I don't know if it's Wednesday. But whenever it actually happens, it'll probably be a little bit of a zoo, so I would stay away. Any other questions?
You mentioned this investigation. There's other investigations that the president's part of. Do you see any credence in those?
Well, we'll have to see what comes out from those. I mean, again, we're operating on leaks, we're operating on limited information, but it's clear that they view President Donald J. Trump as a threat. They're coming after him for a reason. They're not doing the same thing to other Republican candidates. I think they're only doing this because they view him as a political threat who has political capital left and he could actually win. But we'll see what these other investigations lead. I mean, he's been under investigation in a microscope since 2015, essentially, when he came on the political scene. So if they haven't found it yet, you know, they could keep trying. We'll see. We're looking forward to the next dossier. Anyone else? All right. Yeah. As far as my understanding of it, and again, I'm basing this on limited information. It's that they are claiming that he should have been paying these settlement funds from his campaign rather than his private fund. Whatever it is, even if you base it on the fact patterns that they're presenting, it seems to be beyond the statute of limitations. But we'll have to see what they actually come forward with. I don't exactly know what it's going to be, but we'll have to see maybe this week. Gavin Wax with New York Young Republican Club.
Any other protests you would encourage to stay peaceful, right?
All protests should be peaceful. This club has been organizing several protests in the city. We were the first group to organize a peaceful march on Gracie against the mandates. We had 600 people there. There wasn't an incident. We organized the rally outside of the Teddy Roosevelt statue at the Museum of Natural History. I'm finishing a question. Museum of Natural History, also peaceful. We did reoccupy Wall Street, peaceful. So we've been doing this regularly in the city. And I think even for people on the left, they can appreciate that Republicans and conservatives are allowed to protest in this city without fear of retribution, which is what we're doing. So I would hope our friends on the left would appreciate this because it makes them look better, if anything. Yes, sir.
Gavin to get us to a rally where he...
That's not us. That's the Metropolitan Republican Club.
Excuse me, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Anything else? Yes. No, I'm going to go get dumplings after this, and that's about it. Anything else?
Chinatown, Great Dollar Dumpling.
What's your title with the Republican?
President. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.